What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the McFarlane AMC's The Walking Dead Negan figure. This one is exclusive to Walmart. He does have this blood splatter all over him. We do have Negan here in the box, you can see. Really excited I found this guy. I was just going to Walmart after work, stumbled on their collectibles section, and there he was, just sitting there. He does come with Lucille and an alternate hand. On the side it does have The Walking Dead and his name. Really excited to have this in hand. And then on the back we have an image of the actual Negan figure. This one is the one without the blood splatter. Really loving the way it looks. For more information on The Walking Dead, you can visit amc.com/TheWalkingDead. Again, really excited I have this guy in hand. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and then we'll go on to the rest of the review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Negan posed and out of the packaging. Before we get on to the figure, let's actually show off his accessories. First off, he does come with a Walking Dead figure display stand, and I really do like the way the stand looks. You can see it has the AMC's The Walking Dead. Let's get that into focus. And then you can see all this gravel, asphalt, whatever it is, it's sculpted on. Looks really nice. No painted detail, but I do like the fact it is in black. My only complaint about the figure stand is that I wish it said the name of the character rather than the show, because we all know where Negan is from, but if it said Negan, I probably would have been a little happier. And you can see it does have one peg right here on my left hand side. And he does have a peg right here on his on the underside of his foot, and he does stand on the stand really well. Although you do have to mess around with his legs to get him standing on it properly, because there are points where one foot is going to be off the stand and you want to try to get his feet as flush to the stand as possible. But he does come with that. Moving on to the figure, let's actually show off his other accessories, not including the stand. First off, I'm just going to quickly talk about his scarf, and the scarf is a separate piece. You can pop the head off, take the scarf off if you really want. And then we have the shirt is actually sculpted on him right here. Now, the only problem with it that I find is that it's a black shirt. Negan normally wears a white shirt, and we've seen that in the show. So if you want to have Negan without a scarf, you can. Just be aware that there might be some paint rub, as you can see on mine. So I'm just going to leave the scarf on because, I don't know, I like Negan with the scarf more. And then you can see it is attached with a ball joint or ball peg. And just get the head back on there. There we go. So he does come with a scarf. It is a separate piece. And let's actually get his primary accessory out of his hand. There we go. He does come with Lucille. Now, I really do like the way they did this version of Negan. This one is Negan with a blood splatter on him. But you can see, really loving the details they put into Lucille right here. You can see the barbed wire is nicely painted, and then we do get the blood splatter from when he bashes people's skulls in. And we do see a little bit of silver paint through the blood, so I do like that. It is a little not proper on the head. You can see there's some silver paint right here where it should be right here on the barbed wire, but overall I do like the fact we get Lucille. The handle is a little bit warped just from the hand I'm using. The hand that comes with him in packaging, you can see, doesn't really support Lucille the way you would want to. It kind of sits Lucille at an angle, and if it butts up against his sleeve, you do start getting this bend in the handle, which is a little unfortunate, but it is a softer plastic, so it's not too big of a deal. Besides Lucille, Negan does come with two right hands. We do get this hand and this one. This one is more for holding Lucille at an angle, where this one is going to be used to hold Lucille properly across his shoulder. And this hand is actually a little more flexible than the hand he starts off with. You can see I can pry these fingers open. These ones I have harder time prying them open. I think it's a harder plastic that they used for this hand. And I'm probably going to have my Negan displayed with this hand, and Lucille fits in it just much better in my opinion. And it is attached via ball joint, you can see right here. It is a ball joint going into his arm, and then the barbell goes into his hand. And then that's pretty much the effect we have with Negan. You can see really like this. So let's actually get on to the figure himself. Now, McFarlane is known for making statues and figures, but sometimes the figures come out more statuesque than figures. Negan is kind of in the middle here. He has some good points of articulation and then some that question why he even has it. But before we go on to his articulation, let's just go over some of the details on this figure. Getting a zoom in of that face. For what it is, it's a really good likeness to Jeffrey Dean Morgan. If the camera will focus. Really loving the details on it. You can see the blood splatter right here. They just use a glossy paint and just painted it all, so not all of the red, or not all of his face should be this glossy. It's just the way they applied it, that the red isn't a glossy red, it's just red and then they applied the gloss. So that's a little unfortunate. But you can see he has his beard, which is nicely painted. I think they went a little overboard with the white, but that's just my opinion. I think somebody might say it's perfect, or it might vary figure to figure. He does have his scarf, which is that really nice shade of red with the black washing in it. And then we move on to his leather jacket. You can see the blood splatter right here. And I don't know if it's a brown plastic with a black overpaint or black with a brown overpaint, but it looks really nice, and the zippers are nicely painted. You can see they're also sculpted, so we get a lot of details here with Negan. Moving on to the back, you can even see the seams on the jacket, so I do like that. His buckles are nicely painted. This is actually the first McFarlane figure that I'm actually handling, so they do put a lot of detail in the figure, and I'll give credit where credit is due. And then we move to this hand, which has more blood splatter. This part of his pants, you can see the blood splatter there. The seam line going down. And his pants are textured. I don't know if that texture is coming out on camera all too well, but his pants are nicely textured, so I do like that. We have more blood splatter right over here. Moving down to his boots. We have the buckles also painted here, and then we get more blood splatter on his boots, although I kind of wish that we had more blood splatter along the boots, because, you know, he's probably walking around the blood, so it only makes sense that Negan would have more blood splatter on his boots, but it is what it is. And like I said, it is kind of a statue, and I'll get more onto that right now with going over his articulation. As far as articulation goes, he does have a double ball joint in his head. He can look up a little bit. Down, if you remove the scarf, I'm pretty sure you get better range. Can tilt his head side to side. Does turn left and right, but again, hindered by the scarf. If you want more articulation in that, you gotta remove his scarf. Now, he is permanently angled, so that's not an illusion of the camera. His right shoulder is actually higher up than his left shoulder, and that's just the way he's standing, and there's really not much you can do about that. As far as his arms go, the left arm goes out to about that far, right arm goes out significantly more. Both arms do a full 360, but again, because the way it is sculpted, this arm does go out at an angle, as well as this one. We do get a single bend in the elbow. For this one, it only goes to about 90 degrees. This one goes a little past 90 degrees, and that's mainly the arm that you're going to be posing with. And both hands do have a ball joint in a double ball joint in the hand, so we do get some pretty good range of movement there. Like I said, this is going to be the arm that you're going to be displaying Negan with, so be aware that this arm does have a little better range of movement. He doesn't have any articulation in the waist. This is all one sculpt right here. As far as legs, his legs do go out about that far. It's not a lot, but it is something. They go forward about there and go back about there. We also do get a swivel right here, so it might actually be a ball joint right here that his leg is attached to. Yeah, it definitely feels like a ball joint because we do get some forward movement, some back movement, some side to side, and some swivel. So we might have a ball joint right up there. He has single jointed ratcheting knee, and it's the same for both knees, and we do get a swivel up here in his knees. He also does have a slight boot rotation, not the greatest, and it's pretty much the same on both sides. And no ankle articulation because he's really not going to be doing any dynamic posing. But that's Negan for you, so what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, then we'll wrap up this review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Negan posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really like the way this figure came out. I know McFarlane, the way they style their figures, are kind of pre-posed statue where they have limited articulation. In fact, that's the main reason why I avoided their previous Walking Dead figures. I am a Walking Dead fan, but they just haven't really made too many figures that aren't pre-posed statues. And Negan right here, I think for what he is, I really do like it. I know a lot of people will say, well, if he's just a pre-posed statue, why don't you pick up the other ones? Well, one, I like Negan. He's my favorite character on The Walking Dead. And second, I can actually pose him in different ways. He doesn't have one specific way that he has to be posed, like Michonne, Rick, Daryl, and Abraham all have pre-posed limbs, and that really does limit what you can do with him. Negan here, he's going to be posing the way you want him to pose, and that's going to be with Lucille over his shoulder or in his hand. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that that's as close as his arm comes to his body, where the left arm almost sits flush to his body. His right arm sticks out. So the main poses you're going to have him with is with Lucille right here, or Lucille off to the side like that, using his other hand. But again, overall, I really do like the way this figure came out, and I'm really glad I picked him up. I am a fan of Negan. I really do want the standard version that doesn't have the blood splatter, but I just went into Walmart with my friend right after I got out of work, and, you know, I just had to pick Negan up because it's Negan and he's my favorite character. In fact, when I was working at Kmart, I actually got the nickname Negan because I have a jacket just like this. But anyway, I do recommend Negan if you're a fan of The Walking Dead. If you're collect McFarlane, you're going to want to have this guy in your collection. Now, the blood splattered Negan is only available at Walmart, so if you're tracking this figure down, check your local Walmarts and the collectibles. It's going to be where the impulse buys and the playing cards are going to be. I really do recommend them if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, a fan of McFarlane, or just want a really good Negan figure, because I'm pretty sure you can do a custom job using this figure if you have the parts necessary. But with that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think of the McFarlane Negan. Do you think he's worth it? Do you think he's not? Again, let me know down in the comments. As always, go ahead and check out my action figure reviews. I'm pretty sure there's something in there that you guys are going to enjoy. And as always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to add it to my collection if it fits. If not, unfortunately, I'm not going to add it. But until next time, I'm KingofDragons 5000, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.